Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the one and only Mike Krome, direct from Australia. How's it going today, sir?
I'm good, man. Nice to be here.
We are happy to have you here at HQ, and you're working on some of the remarks.
Yeah, only 4 million to go.
And everyone appreciates the hard work you put into each and every one of these remarks, they are amazing. So yeah, you are a superstar artist here at Coffin and throughout the independent world, so we really appreciate you taking your time to come out doing this for us. I was just looking at the Coffin website. We have at least 4 pages full of Mike Krome artwork.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, you are a fan favorite here at Coffin. We've got so much of your art on display and for sale. Currently, we're doing this promotion, which when this video comes out, all these will be gone by the time you see this. But we're gonna enjoy you creating these remarks on here and seeing the process. So when did you get into comic books? Did you always love comics as a kid?
Yeah, I always liked them. I was really into like the European ones, the Asterixes and the Tintins and that sort of thing. I didn't actually find out about American comics till I was about a teenager, and I was into the early Image stuff, and I started collecting probably when I was about 15, 16. And it didn't take long to find the Chaos stuff too, which I really liked. I was into the sort of heavy metal genre, which was a fantastic magazine back in the day too. Probably still is. And yeah, and that's how I discovered Lady Death. And then the cartoon came out from heavy metal, and that really turned me onto it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever made. And so yeah, I've always been a fan of Brian's books.
Did you always draw as a kid? Or
Yeah, always. It was always something I loved doing. Big family, but I was the only one who really drew, and got into it around 13, 14. Really started to enjoy it. Had this fantasy that I would work for Disney one day, so this is all a giant disappointment. But yeah, I still can't believe all these years later I get to do it full time as a job. It's awesome.
And then when did you break into comics full time?
I actually owe that to my friend JP Roth, the author, who's been a long-term friend of mine. And I think 2009, 2010, she started to do a fantasy series based on Greek mythology. And so we started talking. I was working in advertising at the time, which was like kind of a soul-crushing, boring job doing storyboards. And she asked me to illustrate this book, this idea that she has. She actually wanted to do it as a movie initially, but we started doing it as a graphic novel. And I jumped on board, came to visit her in the States a couple times. And yeah, we loved doing it, got a really good reception. And then I started doing covers for other people. And once I picked up a bit of steam, I just started doing it full time, stayed with it.
So did you go to college for advertising, and how did you get into that to start?
I actually started with children's illustration, which people find hard to believe. I'm not allowed to do it anymore, obviously. But yeah, I did a bunch of kids' books, and then just mucked around freelance for a while. And so I was already in the sort of groove of looking for jobs and sort of living the life of a freelancer before I started doing comics, which was a help.
Fascinating. So you discovered Lady Death and Chaos when you were 14. So when did you actually start working for Brian? When did you meet Brian officially?
I actually didn't meet Brian for the longest time, but yeah, like I said, I loved his books. And then I did a drawing of Lady Death that I sent to him one time, and he really liked it, which was very nice of him because it wasn't a good drawing. But he gave me a chance to do a cover, and he liked that as well, and just been doing it ever since. So yeah, that's been a treat. And his books are the most fun to draw. Like, I love the genre of gothic stuff, the outfits, the storylines, the characters. I mean, they're all fantastic. It's a real non-chore to draw. I love it.
Yeah, you can tell it really comes through in your artwork that you do love it, because yeah, it's just gorgeous, everything you do.
Unless I'm doing 200 remarks, then I hate it.
The labor of love. So, what's your philosophy here for these remarks, and what kind of pens are you using on here?
Actually, these are terribly annoying remarks. For the most part, they're all foils or they're shiny, and they're very dark. Again, that's I guess the genre for it too. Mm-hmm. So I'm not doing what I would usually do, which is just drawing them normally. I'm using a lot of white paint. This is a pocket brush, which is nice and flexible and great to use for all kinds of surfaces. And yeah, I mean, when you have a dark background like this, you have to use bright colors and a lot of highlights with white, so I'll show you how that works in a second. But yeah, so far so good, no disasters. And I'm happy that these have all been scooped up from what I hear.
Yes, it did not last very long.
Nice.
So how do you decide what to draw here on these remarks?
I have no idea, actually. By the time you get to like the 50th one, you're sort of, I guess, copying a lot of what you've already done. But it's also quite scary because there's no, like, it's not like drawing a normal picture where you'd have just a white page and then you draw. You can make mistakes, you can erase, and if you like it, you ink it, and you can add detail and all that stuff. This is just a shiny comic cover, so you basically have to jump right in and just really hope your fundamentals are down enough for you to just draw smack onto the page, because there's no mistakes. You can't erase the pen or anything like that. I'm sure there's smarter ways of doing this that like remark professionals know, but so far it's just jumping in hoping there's no disasters. And just using things that kind of make it pop. And then you just think of like artsy terms to describe mistakes that you've made, so they don't sound like mistakes. That's something you pick up along the way.
Hey, that's from Bob Ross right there. Bob Ross 101. Happy little mistakes right there.
There you go.
So how much control does Brian give you when he gives you a layout? So like, for example, this comic right here you're working on, does it just give you broad themes or
for the actual covers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually really great to work with because he's very descriptive. A lot of like the industry standard for covers is make it cool, which is a really annoying description. So he'll have a very specific idea of what he wants and a very specific look, a feel to it, and then he will just tell me that, and then I'll do like 4 to 6 mock-ups, like thumbnail sketches of ideas that I have, and then he'll just pick one and I'll take it from there. But he's usually good at picking the one that I like too, which is highly appreciated. And then yeah, we draw it, ink it, and I have the pleasure of working with some very talented colorists that always make me look way better, so that's always nice.
Do you do it digitally, or is it all?
It's all, I draw traditionally completely. I haven't gotten around to even dipping my toes in the digital pool for drawing, and then it's colored in Photoshop.
You ever color your own?
Sometimes it's something I'm very hesitant about because I don't really know what I'm doing. Unless Brian's watching this, then I definitely do. But and then there's so many talented guys that can do it so quickly. I haven't really been motivated to, but I do like to sometimes. Sometimes if I have permission, I'll color the entire cover in Copic markers, which are these guys, and I'll completely render it in Copic and then color it in Photoshop because all the rendering's done. So I just have to add color layers on top, and that's kind of easier. So I'm a little more courageous with doing that. But I do need to start doing more colors. I really envy people who are a one-stop shop for colors and they can do all their own work. That's got to be nice.
Is there any disadvantage that living in Australia for working in the industry, or is it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. The food's terrible, and so that's number one. The distance is annoying because there's such a great community here in the States. Obviously the conventions, which I'm super stoked about doing a couple while I'm here. That's a really good way to meet fans, to meet editors, publishers. It's how most people get their start. So not really being able to just fly around and do those very often is a bit of a bummer. I do try, I mean, especially now with the lockdowns over, I'll definitely start trying to come once or twice a year like I used to. But yeah, the distance is, that's kind of annoying sometimes. I do wish I could come more often and just meet people, show the work.
Hopefully we can have you back out for Swarmfest.
Oh, absolutely. I would actually love to do that. Yeah, that looks like a really fun time. So I'll definitely have to put it on my calendar. I've got to say, of all the fans of basically any of the work or the publications that I've done, Lady Death fans are by far the best, the most enthusiastic, the most appreciative, the most, I don't know, manic is the right word. But yeah, I love the enthusiasm, and I really like how much they enjoy the art. It definitely makes it worth it.
And it almost feels like with Brian Pulido, he's able to attract the same kind of enthusiasm that he feels towards the art. So it just...
Oh yeah, he's very motivating actually. You sort of hang out with him, and you listen to the way that he feels about comics and entertainment and sort of rock and roll culture of publishing comic books. It's motivating, it's fun. He's got the right attitude towards it to just make it fun. So yeah, that's like a standard remark. And
I guess it would be a lot harder if you just did digital, because
yes,
you wouldn't know what you're doing.
That would save me all of this heartbreak.
Wow. Yeah, these are just gorgeous.
Thanks.
Gotta admit. So everyone who was lucky enough to get one of these,
good for you.
Yeah. So I know Brian has made like official remark type books, but with special paper. So since these are just regular, or like you said, different treatment, like the foil and just regular glossy paper, so that is more of a
definitely more of a challenge. Yeah. See, now I have to think of something I haven't done 100 times so far today. It's just always the hardest part.
I assume you have just a home studio?
Yeah, I got a house in Melbourne, Australia. 2 kids, so I'm lucky enough to have a room to myself to set up a little studio in, do everything from there. Schedule, like most freelance artists, can be a little bit wonky. We often work at night when things are quiet.
I was going to ask if you set certain hours, or you just do it until the job's done?
No, I'm very sporadic when it comes to drawing, so I'll just do it when I can, when nothing else is going on. Kids are a complete game changer too, so you've got to like base the schedule around them. You know, things like the holidays make it completely different, and it's just really when you can get around to it. But that does end up being at night more often than not, which helps because it puts me closer to American hours too, so I can communicate with people.
So what's some advice for brand new artists that are trying to break into the scene, or just trying to get better at their craft?
Don't live in Australia.
I see a theme going on here.
Just, it's super cliche. It's the only thing I ever say. Just keep practicing. Like, it's the only thing that's going to make you not horrific at it. Draw as much as you possibly can, and have fun. Like, you don't need to do it professionally. A lot of people think they need to do it professionally and end up chasing that dream so hard that they lose the sort of the fun of drawing. And I know people that have chased it too hard and have gotten it, and it just immediately, like, you'd be surprised how many artists are just sick of drawing, especially drawing comic books. It really shouldn't be like that. So if you can keep a job and really enjoy drawing, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a lot of joy to be had in that. And if you really do want to make it, yeah, we're in a very fortunate time now in the digital space where you can have online galleries, make a nice online portfolio for yourself. There's lots of different websites you can do that. Don't draw the things that you're good at or that you like drawing. I did that for years. I just drew, well, I was like a teenager, so you can imagine what I drew. And it came in handy later. But when it came time, like I had to draw things that I wasn't accustomed to, I absolutely sucked at it because I only sort of drew one thing for the longest time. So like draw things that aren't like fun for you. Just get good at everything. That's good advice. Get good at everything. There.
So when you come up with some amazing outfits for Lady Death and everyone else in the Coffin verse, where do you get inspiration from?
Some of it's just out of my head. Pinterest is fantastic for that type of thing. There's a lot of really cool galleries of like really interesting lingerie or leatherwear or fantasy type stuff. So that's always a good inspiration. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just taking an existing costume and like tweaking it here and there. I like jewelry a lot. Again, Pinterest is good for that. I love drawing jewelry. Again, this is just where you have to pray your fundamentals are sort of on point because there's no room for mistakes. So if I draw one giant cheek and the world's largest chin, that's what you're getting, unfortunately.
So how does it feel to see your artwork turn into like the Hell Witch statue? And
that's awesome, actually. I was so chuffed to see that. I didn't know he already made a prototype, but yeah, that's I'm so stoked to see that. I didn't know it would be that big. I think that's the first time anyone's made a statue of my work, so I'm really excited to get one. Yeah, it's really gratifying to see.
Yeah, from the 2D world to the 3D world. So I notice you don't listen to music while you're in here.
I usually do, actually. I like podcasts. Here I'm just sort of trucking through, so I haven't really bothered to put anything on. But yeah, at home, I don't like working in silence at all. I know some people do, but yeah, I like listening to audiobooks. You can get a lot of reading done that way, actually. I love audiobooks. Yeah, all kinds of music, depending on the day. Podcasts are great. I love those.
What type of podcast does an artist like Mike Krome listen to?
I like comedian podcasts. There's a lot of very funny comedians that have great podcasts and just sort of take your mind off what you're doing and just have a laugh. I like educational ones. I like crime ones. It all depends on the day.
So you joke about living in Australia a lot, but have you thought about moving the family out to the States?
I used to really like that idea, but not anymore. We're good there. It's a great country. Australia's fantastic to live in. It's a really good place to have a family. And yeah, it's a bit late in the game to be moving everyone, so we're pretty happy there for now. If I can keep visiting the States on a regular basis, I'll be happy with that.
And have your kids picked up the talent?
Yeah, they love drawing. I've got a 5-year-old and a 16-year-old. They both love drawing. 16-year-old's always loved it. He loves anime. So he draws a lot of anime. And yeah, the 5-year-old draws a lot of really horrific illustrations of animals that are very scary. She really likes that sort of thing. By the way, if anyone's out there who does remarques and they can't stand glossy stuff like this, or it's really slippy or something, a little tip, get a Copic marker that's really light, like a C2 I'm using. Like this kind of glossy paper, it doesn't hold white paint, it doesn't hold gel pens, there's a lot of things that just won't stick to it. So if you take something like a really light marker that won't show up, and an alcohol marker, you just color all around it. Basically, you're just giving it a new sticky base. And also, if you do make a mess with a thing, this also works as an eraser because the alcohol gets rid of the ink. So you just color up the area you want to put some white down on. And then when you go, it'd be great if this didn't work on camera. When you go to actually add the white, it actually sticks. So that was something I discovered by accident yesterday, in case that's useful to anybody.
So what's been your favorite Lady Death or Coffin piece you've done so far?
I'm actually not sure. There's been so many. I get asked that quite a lot. A couple of years ago, I could have given you an answer. None of the ones in front of me, but they've all been really fun. That's a dumb answer, I know, but I really genuinely enjoy all of them. I do like the ones where I get to color them myself, the big painted pieces, because then you spend like half a week on something. You really feel like you've made a piece, a painting. So those are always fun. I haven't got any in front of me though.
So you sent Brian an image. He said he liked it.
Initially, yeah, just started with a commission years ago when I was living in England, and I asked. I think I can't remember if I asked him for one or he gave me one, but either way, I ended up having a shot, and I'm very glad that shot worked out.
Did that turn into a cover?
It did, yeah. It's none of these ones. Oh, it's that big one that you have in your stocking room. One of the big ones.
And then from there, right away, did you get more?
Yeah, it stayed pretty regular after that. And then I don't think I actually got to meet him for a few years. I forget how long it was, but I wasn't in the habit of coming to the States and doing shows and the like. But eventually, yeah, I did actually get to run into him, which was pretty cool. And he's a great guy to work with. I really like him. Very easygoing, very creative, very inspirational.
Just make it look so easy.
I'm freaking out inside, don't worry.
So any formal training, or did you just pick up books and start drawing?
I wish I had. I really wish. There's a lot of fundamentals for painting, for instance. I really envy people who can paint. I'm painting now, but I can't really paint. I know nothing about oils or acrylics, which I'm hoping to actually fix in the future. So I would like to try some new things. But no, that is one piece of advice I would have for people. Like, study. Like, if you can go to some kind of training, you can save a lot of... Self-teaching's fine, and like actually most people in the industry seem to do it that way. But if you can study and get like proper training, it's got to be so worth it. So you just know what you're doing without years of experimentation, trial and error.
How would you describe your style?
I have no idea. It's kind of, I don't know. It's not terribly realistic. It's just, yeah. I do several different styles. I actually started off as a cartoonist, so I was very cartoony for years. Like I said, I wanted to work for Disney, so I drew in that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then when I picked up comic books, I actually subconsciously just started drawing like them. So yeah, it's pretty standard halfway realistic, halfway cartoonish comic stuff.
That's a good way of describing it, yeah, for sure, because it's...
Yeah, I don't know actually, no one's ever asked me that.
But you can definitely tell, you can tell a Mike Krome piece just by looking at it.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, you can
Interesting.
definitely see your style. It's just, there's no...
I guess that's good.
Okay, what, on the back of your art book, it's, was it Krome-esque?
Yeah, Krome-esque. Available on my website. Buy it now.
So that is, that would be your style. It's Krome-esque. I guess I gotta ask you about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if there's any in here.
Which one?
This piece, that which we call the, what is it? Love Conquers All. And this is the all version of that. So is this one, what instruction did you get?
Very simple one actually for that one. He said Lady Death, Graveyard, Night. So
And that's what you came up with.
I took those 3 cryptic words and put them together. Yeah, that one came out nice. Well, that's actually not a good representation of it. The actual comic itself, you can probably see the...
Oh, let's see. Do I have the... Oops. Yeah, I can see much more of that. Okay, so there's the Graveyard at Night. And this pose. Where did you come up with this pose?
Oh, I pose for all my covers. No, I think I just drew it out of memory. Not sure what I was remembering when I remembered it, but
got some good memories.
There's a lot of very helpful. I'm not one of these artists that doesn't use reference. I highly recommend it. I can't remember if I use reference for that one or not. There's a lot of really fantastic DeviantArt accounts that do like really helpful action poses, pin-up poses, that type of thing. So I do use them a lot, and definitely don't be afraid to.
That's great. That's amazing. You just from that prompt.
Yeah.
Graveyard at Night, and then this is what you came up with. Wow.
Yeah, like I said, he's very specific sometimes, but he gives you a lot of room to do what you want, which is nice.
And I couldn't imagine a better image for the Mike Krome Artist Celebration for this weekend than this one. Wow. And I totally see what you're saying. It's cartoony but realistic.
Mm-hmm.
The combination of those two things just make it Krome-esque.
Sure, here. Yeah, some are messier than others. You just have to hope you don't make a complete wreck of it. And then
There
we forget all about it.
On to the next. And this might be yours. If you're watching this right now, you might have purchased this one. It might be in your collection as we speak right now. Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with everyone here and giving us a little insight into your world and the artwork. Any final words for everyone watching at home?
If you participated in this weekend, thank you so much. If you're one of the bidders or part of the Kickstarters, of course, keep all this awesome content coming. Really appreciate it. We appreciate the people who buy our stuff and tell us they like it. Makes it all worth it for sure. So keep buying it and keep giving us compliments. We need them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it looks like you got a nice huge box full left to do, so good luck with that. And,
Thanks.